Hey guys, Ben here, helping you earn more, spend less, and invest the difference. Now, anyone that doesn't already know, I'm a huge fan of cryptocurrencies. I currently own over 30 different types of crypto. And recently, in the last 2 or 3 days, there's been some groundbreaking news that's come out where I think it's going to revolutionize the future of Bitcoin. So if you thought Bitcoin was a big deal now, strap in, boys, because we're in for a hell of a ride. You see, most people think that Bitcoin right now is relatively expensive, but on the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are still in its infant phase. And these last 3 or 4 news items that just recently came out in the last few days are going to be the catalyst, at least in my opinion, to jumpstart Bitcoin to actual worldwide global adoption. And when that happens, the sky's the limit for the price. Now, personally, I think that Bitcoin will easily hit 100,000 or more by the end of the year, and that's even after this last month, which has been pretty brutal on the crypto markets in general. Now, I think these 3 or 4 news items that just came out are not getting anywhere near the amount of attention that they deserve. I mean, it's not a tweet from Elon Musk breaking up with crypto. This is actually real news and real global adoption of Bitcoin. So let's get into it. What are some of these items that just came out, and why are they so important that it is going to revolutionize the future of Bitcoin? Well, first and foremost, if you haven't already heard, the country of El Salvador has officially declared Bitcoin as a legitimate currency. The president of El Salvador proposed a bill to the El Salvadorian lawmakers, and those lawmakers passed that bill with a supermajority. And so now Bitcoin is an official currency in El Salvador. Now, why is that a big deal? Well, in literally every other country in the world, Bitcoin is not classified as a currency. It's classified as something else. It might be an asset, it might be a property, it might be a security. But the bottom line is, it's not a currency. So what exactly does that mean? Well, previously, the country of El Salvador did not have their own currency. They used the United States dollar as their currency. Now, they have 2 official currencies, Bitcoin and the United States dollar. So, according to this new law, anything that you could have done with dollars, you can now do with Bitcoin, which means that now all stores are going to be required to accept Bitcoin as payment for goods and services. It means that if you own a house in El Salvador, then you can pay the bank, you can pay your mortgage in Bitcoin. If you owe taxes to the government, you can pay your taxes in Bitcoin. That's a big deal when we're talking about global adoption. Now, obviously, the country still has a long way to go to make this an actual reality. The law has passed, but you still need the infrastructure in place to actually make it happen. It's going to take a little bit of time for stores and vendors to be able to get set up with wallets and get the required equipment to be able to actually handle these types of transactions. Now, probably they're going to be utilizing the Bitcoin Lightning Network to mitigate transaction fees, but the bottom line is they still got a way to go in order to make this an actual reality. And it's not just El Salvador making headways towards legitimizing this as a worldwide currency. Other Latin American countries such as Argentina, Brazil, Panama, and Paraguay, leaders of those countries have taken to social media recently to start endorsing Bitcoin. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the next few weeks, months, that other countries don't also institute legislation similar to what El Salvador is doing to make Bitcoin legal tender in their countries as well, as these countries don't want to get left behind in this digital currency revolution. And one subtle but massive distinction about Bitcoin being classified as a currency in El Salvador is that currencies don't get taxed. You see, in America we use fiat money like this $5 bill, but what this $5 bill can actually purchase is constantly fluctuating. This $5 bill is always going to be a $5 bill, but the amount of goods that it will buy varies. Things like inflation, deflation, or the global exchange rates cause the amount of goods that I can purchase with this money to constantly be in flux. So even though my money might be able to buy more or less of a particular product at various times, I'm not taxed on that, because at the end of the day, I still only have $5. Well, now the same is going to be true of Bitcoin. If you have 1 Bitcoin now, and you have 1 Bitcoin 10 years from now, you don't pay any tax because you still only have 1 Bitcoin. But in all other countries, you're typically going to pay tax on the value of that Bitcoin. So for example, if in the United States you bought Bitcoin at a current exchange rate of roughly $35,000, and then next month you sell it, and you sell it for $50,000, well, you've made a $15,000 profit, and you would get taxed on that $15,000. But with Bitcoin in El Salvador being a currency, the price that you bought it for and the price that you sold it for doesn't matter. What matters is you bought 1 Bitcoin, you sold 1 Bitcoin, so from a tax perspective in their country, nothing happened. You just swapped fiat money for cryptocurrency and vice versa, but there's no tax implication involved. And that's massive, especially when you start considering these multinational, global, conglomerate corporations that rule the world, right? Like, they can move money around at will. So if they have a way to make money and not pay taxes on it, then that's what they're going to do. If they can buy a bunch of Bitcoin and hold it in El Salvador and freely convert that Bitcoin back and forth between Bitcoin and American dollars, because those are the 2 official currencies in El Salvador, and they don't have to pay any taxes on any kind of gains, then that's what those companies are going to do. I mean, if you can buy Bitcoin for $35,000 a coin right now, and you think it's going to go to $100,000 or $500,000 or whatever, the sky is the limit, and you don't have to pay any taxes on that, that's a huge win for these corporations, and they're much more likely to take a chance on these cryptocurrencies because they know that from a tax perspective, it's extremely favorable for them. And speaking of being favorable for companies, right now Bitcoin has been sort of under fire. A tweet from Elon Musk a month or so ago sort of set it off, where they're essentially calling out Bitcoin's extreme energy consumption as being a huge negative for the cryptocurrency, especially considering places like China are mining this currency with a lot of coal-powered energy, which is obviously very harmful to the environment. And so a lot of companies, Tesla included, is now sort of distancing themselves from Bitcoin for the environmental concerns that is surrounded with the coin. However, with the recent crackdown of China on all of its Bitcoin and mining operations, all of those coal mining Bitcoin operations are now being shut down, and those miners are being forced to move elsewhere. So right off the bat, Bitcoin is naturally cleaning itself up a little bit because now you're not having China mine with Bitcoin. But where are they going to go? Well, here we go with El Salvador again. The country of El Salvador has a large amount of geothermal energy that is produced by volcanoes in their area. Now, this geothermal energy is, no kidding, 100% clean and efficient. Unlike some forms of clean energy like solar, which claims to be clean, but the production of the solar panels is really rather dirty in and of itself, with this geothermal energy, it's actually clean energy. And the country of El Salvador has more energy than they can use. A lot of this energy is being completely wasted at the moment. So what did the president of El Salvador do? Well, he contacted the state-owned geothermal electric company that's there in the country, and they instructed that company to provide super cheap, clean electricity to Bitcoin miners. So now what you have is you have a mass exodus of mining capabilities from coal-powered in China to other places in the world like El Salvador, where now a volcano is going to be powering the Bitcoin network. That's pretty cool. In addition, the country of El Salvador has also recently dug another geothermal well that's expected to produce an additional 95 megawatts of electricity, and that electricity will be largely used for mining of Bitcoin. And why this is super important is because as we transition from dirty Bitcoin mining in China to other parts of the world with clean, renewable energy, then this stigma of the energy consumption of Bitcoin will largely go away. And that's a big deal because entire nations, or big banks, or big companies, they've all expressed interest in investing in Bitcoin, but they can't because of environmental concerns. Once all of these places are able to effectively buy into Bitcoin without the environmental concerns, that's going to be when the price of Bitcoin really goes to the moon. and this potential to clean itself up on an environmental level has swayed even the biggest Bitcoin bears in the market. Kevin O'Leary, the famous Shark Tank investor, he used to hate Bitcoin. He used to think that it was essentially trash. But now he sees the clean energy solution to Bitcoin as being a massive opportunity for the network. And in fact, he thinks that if Bitcoin can clean itself up environmentally, that it will well outperform the stock market in years to come. And the last bit of Bitcoin news that has come out recently that's going to revolutionize the crypto landscape is popular trading application Coinbase, which is based out of the United States. They have recently partnered with a 401k provider called For Us All that will allow you to hold crypto assets inside of your 401k portfolio. And this is a big deal because until recently it was relatively difficult to hold crypto assets inside of any sort of a retirement account. Yes, it was technically possible, but it was sort of a lot of work and there was a lot of paperwork involved. You typically had to open a self-directed IRA, create an LLC for a company, and then a checking account for that company, transfer money into your business checking account, open up a brand new Coinbase account that's different from your current Coinbase account, and then have your LLC purchase money through this new Coinbase account or purchase crypto through this new Coinbase account. It was kind of a mess. It was very awkward, and so not a lot of people were doing it. But this recent deal with Coinbase and the 401k provider For Us All, that could potentially streamline this process dramatically, allowing people to start investing in Bitcoin in their retirement funds. And so all of this is just taking crypto and Bitcoin one step closer to being adopted on a global level. And that's where we're going to see the massive price increases. So if you think that Bitcoin has done well in the last 5 or 10 years, we're in for a heck of a ride in the future because I think this ride is just getting started. But unfortunately, this video is now coming to an end. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. And until next time, I'll see you all again. Thanks.